5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just a reminder, these are going to be brief, but just a reminder, apologize for notes, make sure that you are taking down the information in an abbreviated form, writing down what I'm saying out loud. If you have any clarifying questions, please raise your hand. I'm happy to restate something or to slow down, but if you are talking or whispering to appear, it will be numeric. So, moving in, yes?
So this is like continuing from the same
Yes, exactly. So we're on Roman numeral number 4. And the title for this Roman numeral, we're debating and adopting the Constitution. Debating and adopting our Constitution. And our text. So the Constitution was officially voted on what day? What day did we vote on the Constitution? Oh, once you have it, raise your hand. Not seeing? September 17th. Bonus question. How many of our delegates voted to adopt this Constitution? Nice enough? 38. So we have 38 of our 41 delegates voting to adopt this Constitution. Good start so far, in my opinion. As mandated, once these 38 men had signed, our Constitution was sent to the Continental Congress in New York. So from Philadelphia, we have 10 different delegates, 10 delegates, transporting the document from Independence Hall in Philadelphia to New York. So we're traveling to New York from Philadelphia. Once we arrive there, we meet with the Continental Congress. We meet with the Continental Congress. And the Continental Congress decides that 9 out of the 13 states, 9 out of the 13 states were needed to ratify the Constitution. 9 out of 13 states were needed to ratify the Constitution. Translation. We have 13 states. 9 of those states need to say, yep, thumbs up, we vote to adopt this Constitution. Once we hit the threshold of 9, we're good to go, and it becomes the Constitution of the United States of America. With 38 out of 41 of those original delegates voting yes, looks like the odds are going to be in our favor. Perhaps. Things might get a little bit dicey. Which brings us to our Federalists versus our Anti-Federalists debate. So, September 17th, we left the convention. We had voted to adopt this Constitution. That fall, just days later, that fall, we have 3 individuals. I'm going to give you those names now. First is James Madison. The second, the one, the only Alexander Hamilton. And third, John Jay. John Jay, spelled J-A-Y. These 3 individuals wrote 85 newspaper articles. They wrote 85 newspaper articles between October 1787 and August 1788. So roughly the span of a year, they wrote 85 newspaper articles. So again, October 1787 and August 1788. And they write these articles with the sole purpose of supporting the ratification of the Constitution. They write these articles with the sole purpose of supporting the ratification of the Constitution. And these become known as the Federalist Papers. These become known as the Federalist Papers. A couple more specific facts here. Hamilton wrote the first of these Federalist Papers, and in total he ultimately wrote 31. Madison wrote 29. And Mr. John Jay wrote a whopping 5. He wrote 4 very quickly right off the bat. He actually fell ill right after and was only able to write 1 more beyond that. So in total, he only wrote 5. Within these papers, the bottom line, the overarching theme, these 3 individuals, and there were others who also wrote others, these 3 individuals argued passionately that our new nation needed a strong national government. They argued passionately that our new nation needed a strong national government. Yep. Hamilton 31, Madison 29, Jay 5. Specific facts about our Federalists. They were generally, and we're generalizing here, but they were generally wealthy, educated merchants, and or large farmers. They favored a powerful central government. Specifically with this instance here, what do you think was in these individuals' minds? They're thinking of one event that took place in 1786, Massachusetts. They're pushing for that strong central government. Exactly. Guys, very afraid of that occurring again, and we're actually visit in a couple of classes from now a similar event. And we'll see how our government handles it. But they want that strong central government, limiting state power, and they feel like, you know what, the Bill of Rights is not necessary. The Bill of Rights is not necessary to add to our Constitution. Makes logical sense. Everyone should be behind it. Right, Kagatu? No. Okay? Very different point of view that we're going to address right now. We are anti-federalists. Generally, our anti-federalists were farmers. They were from the rural or lower class, where the Federalists favored powerful central government. Guess what? Anti-Federalists were opposed. Where the Federalists favored limiting state power. Guess what? Anti-Federalists were opposed. And the core issue that you're going to see in some of our documents today, one of the core issues that you'll see in our documents today, was the creation of the Bill of Rights. This became the primary leading cause on behalf of the anti-federalists. They believed that a Bill of Rights was essential. A document that outlined the rights of the people. In the anti-federalist minds, they weren't necessarily thinking of Shays' Rebellion at this time. You could argue that they probably had the picture of King George III in their head, foaming at the mouth, speaking to angels, really limiting their rights, and they felt like, you know what, we need those Bill of Rights. They're an essential document, or need to be a central part of our government. So the anti-federalists, in sum, they worried that a strong national government would trample state and individual rights. They worried that a strong national government would trample state and individual rates. Here we go.
So that was the impact railroad, that was what that?
Correct. You don't need to write this quote down, but Richard Henry Lee, one anti-federalist, argued that as it stood, the government would be dominated by, quote, a coalition of monarchy men, military men, aristocrats, and drones. Okay? Pretty strong language there. Anti-federalists very strongly felt their opinion that if we do not outline these Bill of Rights or give our states power, we will end up right in the hands of a monarchy all over again. Federalists will be just as passionate about the opposite side. So a little bit more context here. So December 1787, by December 1787, 3 states vote to ratify. 3 states vote to ratify. Those 3 are Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Yeah.
You said 1787.
Correct. So this is 3 months after the Constitution is adopted in September. Even better, in New Jersey and Delaware, those votes were unanimous. In New Jersey and Delaware, those votes were unanimous. Someone remind me how many states we need in order to officially ratify this Constitution, Mr. Rock? 9. So we have 3 down. I'm not an math teacher, but I think that means we have 6 more to go. And on top of that, New Jersey and Delaware, again, were unanimous. Cutting out to things are going well, right? No. January through May of 1788. So those following, January, February, March, 5 months. Those following 5 months, we have Georgia vote yes, Connecticut votes yes, Massachusetts votes yes. So again, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland votes yes, and South Carolina votes yes. We need 6, no, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many do we have last week? 8. So we had 8 states. We only need, according to Mr. 1 more. That brings us to June. June 1788. June 1788. The Virginia ratified